Welcome to Ski Fit Yoga with Noona. Ski season is nearly here and it's so important that your body is ready for those first few runs. So I've put together a routine. Now I'm not a skier, I'm a snowboarder, so I appreciate that some of the muscles are going to be different, but I think overall this will help both skiers and snowboarders. So let's come on to all fours. Take the knees a little wider and then sit all the way back into child's pose. Let your forehead rest on the ground and take 3 slow deep breaths into the belly. Exhale all the way out. Now walking your hands, take them over to the left side of the mat, and with your hands like they're glued to the ground, traction back towards your right hip. Breathe into the right side of your rib cage, right side of your body. And take your hands over to the right side of the mat. Draw back towards your left hip. Breathe into the left side, left rib cage. Let the breath be the stretch. And come back to center. Lifting up onto all fours. Pressing down through the underside of your hands, like the underside of the knuckles. We call it the root of the fingers. Knees hip width apart. Cat and cow. Breathing in. Lift the head. Drop the belly. Exhale, round the spine. Gently squeeze abdominals and look to the belly. Inhale, lifting the head. Opening up the chest, the heart. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift the head. Release the belly. Exhale, round. Gently squeeze abdominals and pelvic floor muscles. They'll release on the in-breath. 2 more times. And the in-breath brings you back into a neutral spine. Let's sit back onto the heels and lift up the right arm. Exhale, stretch over to the left. In-breath up to the top, switch, and exhale over to the right. And again, in-breath back up to the top. Exhale over to the left. In-breath to the top and exhaling over to the right. In-breath back to neutral. Let's come onto all fours, ready for thread the needle. Good for stretching shoulder blades and giving the spine a twist. Right arm lifts on the inhale. And swing the hand through to the left on the exhale. Gentle pressure on your left hand to create twist in the spine. Just be guided by the sensations in your spine. And if it feels good, you can lift the left hand up, opening up the chest. And bring the hand down to the mat. Lifting back up. On the other side, inhale, left hand lifts. Exhale, swinging the arm through to the right. Left side of the head, left shoulder blade, left shoulder on the mat. And back to center. Toes curl, tummy in, downward facing dog as we lift up through the sit bones, shaking out the head. And press down through the heels one after the other, waking up the backs of the legs. As you press down through your heels, see if you can press into the glutes, into the hips. Keep the tummy long and hollow. And then pressing down through the right heel, raise the left leg up. Bend the left knee, lift and open left knee, left hip, like a dog peeing on a lamppost. Left leg lengthens, level hips and foot to the mat. And let's try the other side. Left heel down, right leg up. Bend the right knee, lift and open knee and hip. Leg lengthens, hips level, and bring the foot down to the mat, knees to the mat. And we'll come back into child's pose, sitting all the way back to the heels. Hands walk forwards and breathe into the lower back and the belly. Inhaling, lift up onto hands and knees. Curl the toes, downward facing dog. Pressing your right heel down, let's raise the left leg up. And step the left foot between the hands. Right knee to the mat. With an inhale, lift the arms. And release the hands down. Curl the toes, lift the knee. Lengthen both legs now, including the left leg, and we'll fold over the left leg. If you find that you can't reach the ground, you can always use blocks. That gives us a little more space. And just let gravity be the guide here. Gravity is doing all the work for you. Soften the left knee and step back to downward facing dog. Again, shake out the head, the neck. Press through the heels like we're massaging out the backs of the legs, really waking up the back body. Left heel down. Inhaling, raise the right leg. Step the right foot between the hands. Flatten the left knee and then lift the arms, Anjaneyasana. And take hands down to the mat. Curl the back toes under, lift the knee. And fold over a lengthened right leg this time. And again, blocks. If you find it's hard to touch the ground, if those hamstrings are super tight, just be guided by your body. Bend the knee. Place the blocks back and we're going to walk the feet so they're square to the ends of the mat. And with the weight even between the toes and the heels, we release the crown of the head downwards. It's a very passive stretch. You're really just releasing here, letting gravity take the torso, opening up the backs of the legs, back to the knees, and trying to keep your hips level. So if you feel like there's more stretch on the right inner leg than the left, just play around with your hips until you even the stretch up. Keeping the weight even over your toes and heels, walk your hands out in front of you. So my weight hasn't changed, it's still in the same place. It's just that the arms are outstretched, and now I'm going to breathe deeply into the torso, really filling it up, 3D. Walking the hands back, let's take the hands underneath the shoulders, in breath. Exhale, bend your right knee and stretch out the left inside leg, keeping the foot flat on the ground if you can. As you breathe in, lengthen legs. Exhale, bend left knee, stretch right inside leg. Inhale back to center and exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale back to center, exhale, bend left knee. In breath back to center, and now we're going to place the left hand midway and rotate up through the right arm. Trying not to push your hips to the right. Keep reaching through the crown of your head so you feel like the neck is long. Bring the hand down. Switching out, draw the left hand up. Right hand midway between the feet, rotating through the spine. And bring the hand down. Now zigzag your feet in, once, twice. And bring your hands onto the knees and we're going to roll up through the spine. And roll back the shoulders. Stepping to the top of the mat. With an in-breath, lift the arms. Folding from your hips, we exhale. Let's take the arms wide, soften the knees. With an inhale, natural curves in the spine. We inhale, lift back up. Exhale, fold. And now, on this one, bend your knees, tailbone down. Lift your head. Sinking the tailbone down, swing the hands forwards and up for Utkatasana, tummy in. So we're really training those thighs, the quads, glutes. So we're going to be in those long traverses. Helps you prepare for the leg bone. 3, 2, 1, and inhale, lengthen the legs. Exhale, fold back down to the earth. Soft knees, wide arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Pausing at the bottom, bend the knees. Tailbone down, head lifts. Utkatasana. Swing the hands forwards and up. This time we'll take cactus arms and then bring hands together in prayer. Deep inhale, exhale, twisting to the left. And here we can open up the arms, one down, one up, keeping that lower arm connected to the knee. Back to center. Inhale to the middle. And rotate to the right, left elbow, right knee, arms open, keeping the left elbow connected to the right knee. Palms back together. And into the center. And inhale, lengthen, lifting up, reaching up, open up. And exhale, hands back to heart. Release. Now, goddess, Utthita Konasana. Hips, pelvis, glutes. Turn the toes out so they're 45 degrees. Arms up, tummy in. The muscles in the pelvic floor are lifted. And then we bend the knees, sinking slowly down into what feels like our limit. And we're going to pulse here. Let's see if we can take it a little lower. Remember to keep the tummy muscles in. It's easy to kind of spill the front body, but we're keeping a short line between sternum and belly. Wrap your right arm underneath the left, intertwine the arms, and then fold forwards. And this will stretch out the shoulder blades, Garuda arms. And in breath back to center. Cactus arms. Left arm underneath the right, intertwine the arms, lift elbows. Folding on the exhale. In breath back to the top. Wide arms and lengthen. Release the arms. And we can zigzag the feet in. I love a hula hoop, so we'll just do a hula hoop in both directions for the hips. Now a great one to stretch out the quads. If the quads feel like they're getting a bit fiery, and you're off on the slopes. Natarajasana, King Dancer's pose. Really important to have ground, steady ground. So let's spread the toes of the right foot, right hand on the hip. Now there is a wall if you need it, just to help your balance. Take hold of the left ankle and press the left hip forwards. Steady your gaze, and then if you can, bring your right hand into Chin Mudra. The tip of the index connects to the tip of the thumb, the arm lengthens. Take an in-breath and exhaling, we press the foot away. Letting the quadriceps stretch, letting the shoulder draw back. It's good for opening up the chest. Check that you haven't lifted your knee, so we've got a kind of chicken leg. We want the pelvis level, standing leg and bent knee are level. Gentle backward bend. And release. And let's take it for the other side. Just shake out first of all through the hips. Spread the left toes, left hand to left hip. Lifting up the right knee, take hold of the ankle and draw the foot up into the buttock. So the foot's heavy in the hand. I'm not bending my elbow trying to draw the foot up. Chin mudra with your left hand. Arm lengthens, gaze is fixed on one point ahead of you. And as you exhale, pivot through the hips. And the right foot will press away, and that will open up your chest, stretch the quad, finding balance, steady breaths. Slowly lifting up. Releasing Chin Mudra, releasing the leg. And again, have a little shake out. A good overall warm-up for the body is always sun salutations. So if you want to just get your body revved up and ready, step to the top of the mat, spread your toes out. Weight evenly distributed between left and right foot, hands to heart. Exhale, release the hands. Inhaling, lift the arms. Fold from your hips as you exhale. Keep the legs nice and straight so we can stretch back to the legs. Hands to the mat. You may need to bend the knees. Try and get the fingers to line up with the toes and step your left foot back. Left knee to the ground. Lift your torso. Lift your arms, Anjaneyasana. It's quite nice here to have a little lift through the hips and exhale, sink the hips down and forward as this will really stretch out your hip flexor on the left side. And again, inhale, lift. Exhale, we sink down. Notice that I have 90 degrees between the knee and the ankle. At no point am I in this position, which is very unsteady, very unstable. Okay, so we're in that nice firm 90-degree angle. Hands to the mat. Curl your back toes under, lifting up the knee, strong back leg. And then smoothly step back to downward facing dog. Nice deep in breath. Exhale, ripple your spine forwards as you come into plank. Now once you're in plank, try not to collapse. We lift out through the shoulders, we press through the heels, so I'm pushing those heels back and I'm reaching through the crown of my head. A strong, steady line, heart's lifted into the back of the chest, knees to the mat, heart between the hands, chin to the ground, gliding forwards onto the belly, toes point, legs are active, kneecaps are actually lifted off the mat. Breathing in now, we curl up into cobra, drawing the shoulders back. Exhale, we release down. Inhale, pressing back up onto your knees. Stretch back as you exhale. And inhaling, lift back up onto your knees, curl the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tailbone nice and high. Relax your shoulders. Press down through the heels. Press down through the underside of the fingers. Breathing in now, left leg raises. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands. Make sure you have that 90-degree angle so that when we lift the arms for Anjaneyasana, we're in a very steady position. Toes are spread. Lifting on the in-breath, the hips. Exhale, sink them down and forwards, this time stretching your right hip flexor. And again. And then take hands down to the mat. Curl your right toes under, lifting up the knee. Strong back leg. And step to the top of the mat. Crown of the head releases down to the ground. Towards the ground. To the ground will be quite ambitious. And then let's soften the knees, take the arms wide, inhale, lifting, coming all the way up. Palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands back to heart. You can repeat the sun salutation as many times as you need to really warm up the body. So now we'll take some poses down on the mat. I like to come down through Malasana. So we turn the feet out into like Donald Duck feet, hands into heart. Lifting up through the pelvic floor, breathe in And exhale, sink down through the knees into Malasana. Some people find it very hard to get the heels on the floor, and it's completely acceptable to have a rolled up mat or a cushion or a block underneath if that just helps train. Otherwise you find that the hips just won't go down. If you have super long legs, then it's helpful to take your feet just a little bit wider. Otherwise you find that the heels again won't come down onto the mat. Shoulder blades, rather than curling forwards, we're going to draw the shoulder blades back, opening up the chest. Remember to keep the pelvic floor muscles lifted, so we're sending energy upwards. And then we can release the hands and come down onto the buttocks. One thing I always find after my first few goes snowboarding, when it's the beginning of the season, is I get really stiff upper arms. I don't have flow bindings, and I just find that all the time sitting down, pressing back up constantly really makes my arms tired, and then I end up with sore muscles. So we're going to do a fun exercise just to strengthen those upper arms, okay? So we'll press up into tabletop, hands underneath the shoulders. Feet are going to be hip width apart. And we lift up the hips and we try and make a flat line between the knees and the shoulders. So we don't want a saggy table, we're really lifting up. Your chin can either tuck in or release the head back, whichever one feels most comfortable to you. And now as we lower the hips down, we straighten the legs and we swing the hips through between the hands and we come back up. Lower the hips, swing them back, straighten the legs and lift the hips back forwards and up. Let's do that 2 more times. Last time. And then release back, sit, and soften. You can just roll the shoulders a little bit. Bending the knees now, we're going to come into Baddha Konasana, diamond shape. Now my feet aren't super close, so it's not like I've got little frog legs here. They're not too far away. It's something in the middle, so we have a decent diamond shape on the inside of the legs. Important that we get right on the top of the sit bone so that lower back is lifted, because if we start from here, then we really don't have anywhere to go. If you have a tight lower back, I would recommend sitting on a block for this one. As we begin, let's lift up through the heart space, breathing in. And then it's your heart that's going to ease you forwards. We'll take a little bit more yin energy with this one. We're not going to hang on to those feet for dear life. We're just going to walk the hands out. And release until you find that first edge of resistance, the muscles that go, oh, enough, stop. And breathe in, lift up. Exhale, soften, let go. In breath lifting. Exhale, softening. And do that as many times as you need to. Maybe you find that your edge will move a little, it will blur a little. Maybe it won't. Maybe there will be no movement at all and your edge will be the same. But at least if you're moving with the breath, your body feels heard. And when the body feels heard and we ask it to do something, very often it's more compliant. Now what you can always do here is place a block on your feet. And then you can just rest your head and that will just let everything soften a little bit. That's another option. So you can probably feel that this is stretching out lower back, hips, inner legs. Try and relax and soften into the places that feel tight. Send the energy of your breath into those spots. And as we press down through the hands, let's walk the hands back. Slowly coming up, lift the knees to the center. And now with the hands behind you, separate your feet the width of the mat and roll the knees down, one after the other. And then shuffling your bottom towards the top of the mat, we're going to roll down onto the back. And once you land on the back, bring your knees into the chest. And we can hold on to the knees and circle the knees, which is a really nice massage. Let's place the right ankle on the left knee. So notice I'm keeping that right knee completely perpendicular. It's not up towards me, it's really out to the side. Now, if you can, draw your left knee towards you, and perhaps you can wrap your hands around the knee. Maybe that's too much, you can take the back of the knee. If all of that's too much, then maybe you shouldn't be going skiing this season. I'm kidding. You can just put your foot on a block, and that will just give you a little bit of a lift. And then releasing the knee, we're going to cross the right leg over the left and bring our arms into cactus. So cactus is like this surrender arms position. Okay, so as we're lying down on the back, the arms are in that cactus. Take an in-breath, knees to the chest, and exhale, roll your legs over to the left and roll your head to the right. See if you can keep your right shoulder on the ground. Breath by breath, softening. After the next in-breath, let's slowly return onto the spine. Draw the knees back into your chest. Hug the knees. Roll them around so you can realign the spine. Then it's left ankle onto right knee, perpendicular left knee, and if possible, wrapping your hands around the knee, either the front or the back of the thigh, and just give that left hip a good stretch. Check that your chin isn't sticking up too much, that you've drawn the chin downwards, that we have a lengthened neck. When you're given the left hip, left glutes, left hamstring, really nice stretch, release. Cactus arms. Cross the left knee over the right, knees into the chest. As you exhale, roll the legs over to the right and head to the left. And again, it's breath by breath release. And the next in-breath, let's return to center. Uncross the knees. Draw the arms around the knees. Have a good roll around. Realigning your spine. With hands behind the knees now, we're going to rock back up to seated. Find a comfortable seat. Place your hands onto the knees and we'll circle the spine. Try to initiate the movement from your pelvis. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And then we go in the opposite direction. Return to center, roll back the shoulders, bring hands into Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this Ski Fit Yoga.